we talk about full moon, tomorrow Venus is entering Capricorn, so she's going to spend some couple of weeks there. What actually I like that she's going to come to Capricorn, because she's going to give us some reality checks, some stability, and we kind of, although we don't want to face some things, unfortunately, I think we're going to realize that we need to work hard, right, to achieve our goals. And the beauty, Venus in Capricorn achieves beauty in success, in she, that's where she sees beauty, in having results, in having things done. Okay, so we also so that's important. And why I'm mentioning this, because she's going to rule this full moon coming up on November 15 at 24 degrees 1 minute Taurus. So she's going to rule that moon. And I think because the moon is in Taurus, she likes to be in Taurus, and Venus is in Capricorn. Although the Uranus is there, it's going to shake up some things.
Sure will.
I think I think we're still going to have some kind of tangible goals that we need to kind of either going to be revealed or see, or whatever the full moon usually exposes. Okay.
I see.
So that's one thing. We entered Mercury retrograde shadow on the 7th. So the Mercury is going to go retrograde on the 25th. Right. So everything that happens between the 7th and the 25th, you kind of take a note of it, because it's going to be revised later. Because even during the shadow period, that's the whole shadow period. What does it mean? It means that Mercury is going to go 30 degrees in the retrograde motion, then back in a direct. So he's going to be there a lot. So topics might come up. So that's why I always feel that things, although they seem final, we never know with this Mercury retrograde what's going to happen. Okay, and for the full moon, we have Uranus closely conjunct the moon, and it's near the Algol, that that fixed star, that is very notorious fixed star, right? I don't do predictions. I can do forecasting. That's how I operate, because prediction, I think only psychic people can do predictions. I can just do forecasting. Interesting point that all this full moon and Uranus with this Algol is happening on Trump's midheaven. Okay, midheaven is something visible to the whole world, something everybody sees, something public. Okay. So things we might see what happens on that. I still feel that after this full moon, and let's see what happens in the next few days after full moon, to see where we stand. That's your feel. That's my stand on it.
Okay.
That's my feel. So let's see. There's happening. Mercury in Sagittarius is about exploring our minds, seeing the bigger picture. It's also about our beliefs.
Yes.
And philosophies, and these are going to be revised.
Yeah, our ideals and things, right?
Yeah. So let's see what that brings. It's a lot of and Pluto is at the last degree of Capricorn. I remember talking to my astro friends back in spring. I said, look, guys, I don't know who's going to win, what's going to happen. You never know. People were saying something, but I know that last degree of Pluto in Capricorn, 59, like literally 29, 29 degrees, 59 minutes. It's like a last minute. It's not because he's moving back to Aquarius on the 19th of November. So this whole month he's practically stationing in a few minutes, right? He's not moving a lot.
Okay.
That is still the old structures, the old things that it's hanging on. Like the old things are not letting go. So that's why that's what I feel, that it's just like kind of like a last thing that people don't want to let it go. The old structures, the old way that we live, the old way that the governments, the companies, the corporations, all these things, how it used to be. It's holding on. It doesn't want to let go. Okay,
no.
Right. That's why it's very strong. That's why I thought that I said I don't know who's going to win, but I think old white men. Unfortunately, it's what it is.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And it's not so much. I mean, I expected that, but it also is interesting that it's like it got by me a little bit that I always say the old white men and the women who love them because they voted for him
yeah,
in
yeah,
numbers. So
yeah,
it's also
yeah,
that
yeah,
women don't
yeah,
want to change either. Um, Whatever reasons they put up because of blah blah blah. No, they think they just were more comfortable with the old structure.
yeah, yeah.
We give a lot of mouth to a lot of talk to something, but then there's not a whole bunch of follow through, and
Not yeah,
so that was a rude awakening for me. Hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And another thing that I was talking about during the year, Jupiter is in Gemini. So think about Gemini is all about news, it's about information, it's
Hmm.
about data, it's about everyday gossip, and
Hmm.
Jupiter is enlarging everything.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Expanding it. Hmm.
it's a lot about fake news, fake information, or just superficial. We don't know the deep what is behind the scenes.
Right.
I think that's the whole another thing that we. So I think many people casted their votes based on the information that they had, which I don't believe are the whole truth or, and this is also Mercury in Sagittarius. It's about the truth,
Absolutely.
speaking the truth. So
Speaking the
I
truth.
feel,
Yes.
yeah, so I feel that this whole situation with the Pluto last degree, with Mercury being in Sagittarius, he doesn't like it. Jupiter doesn't like to be in Gemini. Although they're mutual receptions, they do kind of help each other. I truly believe that this whole situation, we don't know what we're dealing with in the sense that we don't have we just, there's, it's, it's superficial, it's not deep enough, and we don't have the big picture. We don't understand what's happening. So I
Hmm.
think reset of our society and everything starts, new seed starts next year with this Saturn and Neptune going into Aries, and when they meet in 2026 at 0 degree Aries, this is the reset.
Ah,
Okay,
okay.
so I feel that that's going to be some kind of reset. And the nodes, I know Anne always mentions the lunar nodes.
Yes.
They are going. They're going to be in 0 degrees of Aries beginning of January. Okay, just around inauguration, I think. So it's very interesting. That's also a reset. So there is also, don't forget, Neptune is in Pisces, last degree of Pisces. What is Neptune?
It sure
Delusion, illusion,
is.
fantasy.
Yes. Yeah.
Also the last degree, and moving retrograde, still not dealing with everything. So we have this, like it's somebody say, oh, Lisa says nothing feels real or solid. That's exactly. It feels like what's happening. This can't be real kind of a
Yeah.
feeling, right? This
Right.
can, right? So I think a lot of these energies are still cleansing to the old, and then before this new seed is, and then we're going to start a new cycle, and then we're going to see changes coming
Yeah.
in the next, in the
That was
second part of 2020s, in the
yes.
second part.
Yeah. The latter half. Right.
Yeah,
Right. Okay. The second part. Yeah. That makes sense. And I hope to see
that's
that.
yeah.
And so.
So
So. Mhm.
so that this is unfortunate, let's say, but I do hope that that many truths will come out, even with this Mercury retrograde just now. But in the next couple of years with this reset, I hope we're gonna base our decisions on better information.
Mhm. Yeah. That would
Yeah.
be good. That would be
Okay,
good.
so that's
Mhm.
about politics, as I said, but still, I'm mentioning this just because this full moon is on Trump's midheaven, and that's very significant. I don't know what it means. I'm just saying that when it's also like when we had Mars Uranus conjunction in July, there was the first attempt. I don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, I don't want
Yeah,
to say
yeah,
anything,
no, but I
but
think yeah, Uranus is pretty much and Uranus is
yeah,
really busy right now.
yeah,
I know every time you turn around, it's
yeah,
Uranus doing something. So
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's something that's also gonna prevent us from saying this is it because nothing's going to be it
yeah.
for a while.
Uranus is a shocker,
It
so we're gonna
is.
be shocked one way or another.
Yes.
A full moon is revelation. It's culmination,
Yes.
something that is revealed. I think we're gonna be shocked. I don't know what's gonna happen,
Hmm.
but but but
I
but
do.
and Venus in Capricorn is ruling, and Capricorn is government.
It's
Capricorn is uh,
institutions and
institutions
yep,
and stuff.
yep.
So let's see. And
Yeah.
These are women. Also, Venus represents women. So
Right.
will some women, I don't know, we'll see what happens. Also, on the same day, Saturn will station to go direct, finally, okay?
On which day is that? What
The,
day is
the, the
that?
November
I,
15th,
I see. Okay.
The Friday,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
That is this
So,
Friday. Yeah.
so that was also interesting because Saturn and Pluto are not moving much this week. And
Yeah.
even the
Oh, that's
last week,
interesting.
they're like kind of stationing to change direction. So they're really stuck in 1 degree and they're not letting go. So when we have this change of direction, of motion, energies feel like stuck. They're not going
Right.
anywhere because you know how when you pull the car, you go, when you want to side park and you want to go back, you go backwards. There's a moment when you need to stop to see and then slowly move. But there's this moment of when you have to stop and look back,
Yeah.
when you go parallel park, right? So
Yes. Right.
that's the feeling.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good example. Good
Right?
analogy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Pluto and Pluto's not is changing directions, but he's changing signs. So I think it's also significant. Okay. So, um, um, what is it, Dr. J? Pluto reveals all. Can't help but wonder if true elections results were hidden. That's also possible. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I don't
Yeah.
think all of this. I don't think it's real. Also,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm also delusioned, but
Right. Yeah. No,
okay.
let's put it this way. If there's more in store, there's to be continued. To
Yes,
be continued.
to be continued.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a very important thing on this full moon, high Ceniflu on Venus, which is the ruler of this moon, as I mentioned, is squaring the nodes. So she's gonna.
Oh.
So it's called the planet on the bending. So what does that mean? It means that
Mm-hmm.
it's something faded, something something
Oh.
important with the nodes. Uh, um, it could be uh, it's also Venus is about partnerships,
Okay.
right?
Right.
Relationships.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So on the nodes, maybe some of them are going to break. Maybe that. Maybe we'll hear about somebody. What happened.
Yeah.
Who was with whom and why. Like in that sense, right? It can be a lot of things. So that's very interesting. Oh yeah. So and I want to mention another thing. The Sun is in Scorpio, so it's still ruled by Mars. Okay,
Yes.
so we
Yep.
have Venus-Mars opposition. When we have Venus-Mars opposition, it's always about tug of war, kind of. It's a lover. They're lovers fighting lovers,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
So two opposite sides, right? So this full moon is all about that. Partnerships. Juno is also
Oh,
involved because Juno, I think. Where did I put
that's
my
the plan.
notes?
That's the asteroid marriage, right? Marriage and partnership.
Yes.
June is that June?
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yes. So Juno is square. Juno is in Scorpio,
Mm.
squaring Mars in Leo. Okay,
Screams.
and we still have this Pluto Mars opposition. It's not as exact and as strong, but it's still there.
Yeah.
Mars is kind of, but it's still there. Like it's still 4 degrees apart, which is still strong, right?
Okay.
And so that opposition, and then Juno is on the apex of this T square.
Oh,
So there is something about because I'm feeling having a sense of who was partnered with
that's
whom,
exactly.
who is
There's going to be
fighting,
yes,
right?
yes, yeah. A partner's not going to be. It's like the thieves, the den of thieves. Someone's not happy with their arrangement or what their
Yes.
share of the spoils may be, and yeah,
Do you know what happens in politics, especially? I have to mention this. It's always they have these coalitions. People are promising other people that if they win, they will give them
right.
this and that. Will this happen?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
Mm-hmm.
feeling all these people around Trump who he gathered. He obviously promised him. He probably obviously promised them something because that's how politics work. And if he doesn't go through with it or something doesn't, you have Elon Musk. He's a strong individual. Trump is a strong individual. Having two strong individuals working together,
Yes. Well,
there's
yeah, Scaramucci said that, and plus, there's no telling because Trump is not. I wouldn't say he's a strong individual, but he definitely has a
he's,
will. He has a will.
that's what
strong
That's what I
will.
mean.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I mean. He's
But I think
strong-willed.
also
Yeah.
he probably overgave. In other words, he probably promised you and I the same thing, pretty much. You know
He's
what
a
I mean? So, and
he's a
now they're saying, what, you
Gemini,
promised Jasmina that? You know what I mean? So that's what could be happening too.
right? He's a Gemini with
Hmm.
Leo rising. It can be, over the top. Leo wants to shine, be the best, and then,
Yes. Be the
very,
king.
I'm
Be
just,
the
yeah, be the
yes.
king, and I'm going to give you all, my in my kingdom
Bestow
place.
upon you. Bestow upon you this. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, this full moon kind of tells me that this is kind of going to be something around that
Good.
matter.
All right. All right.
That's just my take on it. I don't know.
So
Maybe I'm wrong.
keep the popcorn handy is what you're saying, huh?
Yeah. So in that sense, it can be also on every politics. It can be global politics. It can be this party, that party. We can see what's
Hmm.
happening. Um, if I always like to mention the lunar family. So this full moon is part of the lunar family. It's regarding the new moon that was on the May 19th, 2023 at 28° Taurus. So something that was happening around then might come up to the surface now. And the last quarter, the finalization of it all, it's going to be 16th of August next year, 2025, at 23° Taurus.
Okay,
Also,
slow down. You're going really fast. So
okay,
16th of August, 2025,
yeah,
and that's going to be the closing.
square, the third quarter of this lunar family, the third
Hmm.
quarter,
Okay.
yeah. It's 23° Taurus, which I also find interesting because 23° Taurus is where it was near the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction we had this spring, and it's where Uranus stationed to go retrograde at 23, and we have Uranus now in this full moon. So there is again another
Uranus.
maybe
Yep.
shock
Yeah.
surprise
Hmm.
next summer that we it's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Also, we have Mars. Mars is going to go retrograde beginning of December. I think December
Oh,
6th.
really?
Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
that's going to be a long. So he just entered Leo. He's going to go back in Cancer all the way to the 17th degree of Cancer. So he entered the
Hmm.
shadow. I think he entered the shadow before the election. And Mars is action, right?
Right.
So let me
Yeah.
just see when he
So
entered the
use that.
shadow. I don't know where he entered the shadow. I can't remember. Anyway, I can't remember when he entered the shadow, but he already entered the shadow a while before the election. I know that. So
Yeah.
there's also topics coming up back, right? And then he's gonna
Yes.
go direct in February, and then he's gonna stay. He's gonna move around this Leo Cancer until April next year, which is also
Okay.
very interesting. Um,
And then I know you mentioned that we have this may be off topic
no,
or
it's
something to
not.
discuss later, but remember you mentioned that we have several outer planets that will be changing sign.
Yes,
But
next year.
that's when that's next year. When next year? Spring or is it
So there you go. So we're
approximately?
gonna have,
Well, we
yeah,
can
yeah, we're
talk
gonna
about
have.
another time. Yeah, but
No,
that's
no,
gonna be
it's okay.
definitely
No, let's talk about it. So Pluto just is gonna go on November 19th, finally in
in
Aquarius,
Aquarius,
not going back not going back to he's not going
Capricorn.
to go, yeah,
Hmm.
at all.
It's done.
Then, yeah, so I think that we have Uranus going into Gemini in July.
Oh, great.
Okay, in July
Yeah.
into
Yes, I remember
Gemini.
that. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, let me see. 2025. It's the best way to look at everything. Look at the ephemeris. That's the best way to see everything. So, we're gonna have Saturn. Saturn
Hmm.
moving. No, Saturn is moving into Aries, beginning of June next year.
Okay.
And Neptune is gonna go in Aries beginning of April next year. Okay, but they're gonna go back to Pisces, both of them, and they're gonna do this dance between last degree of Pisces and 0 degree of kind of a beginning of Aries until February 2026 when they meet and have a conjunction. Okay, and that's where the new cycle actually starts. So next year is still going to be kind of a feel of cleaning up, because Pisces is the end of the horoscope.
Hmm.
reflect it, it's combining everything that happened in the cycle before the new
Yeah.
one starts, right? So
Okay,
it's
so
kind of
Neptune in Aries is beginning of when now? Neptune goes into Aries?
April.
April. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he's gonna go. Oh, actually, March
So
31st to be exact.
okay, that's why I had March
March
in mind.
31st.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's April. Yeah, same thing.
yeah. So
Gotcha.
March 31st,
Uh-huh.
and Saturn is actually gonna go May 26th.
Okay.
And Uranus is entering Gemini July, I think it was July 8th or 7th. Just a second.
I get the impression
July
that
8th.
next year's gonna be quite the explosive year. I feel next year's gonna be a lot
Yeah.
of going on, a lot of
So,
things going on. Yeah,
so what
as
I
if we
didn't do
didn't
the
have that
research.
this year.
Yeah, I didn't do the research, but I'm listening to astrologers who did. I know Steve Judd did and Rick Levine did the
Yes.
research. So,
Yes.
so, so what happened? This is the first time in history that all three outer planets, Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus,
Mm-hmm.
Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, are changing sign in this short period of time. Because their cycles goes for so
So
long,
long.
right?
Yes.
Plus,
Yes.
we have Saturn there.
Mm-hmm.
He's not an outer planet, but also we are adding Saturn to this picture. That also
Yeah.
Jupiter is also changing sign because Jupiter changes sign every year. So he's
Right.
going to go into Cancer. So Jupiter is going to go to Cancer, which I like. It's my Jupiter return. Plus, Jupiter loves to be in Cancer.
Yeah.
It's also going to be in June somewhere. So we're going to
That's
have
good. That's a nice smoother. That's a nice smoother to have Jupiter
yeah, yeah,
Cancer.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So we're gonna have like a lot of them. So this is a lot of things are happening, but we never had like I think they went back 10,000 years back in
Wow.
history, and this never happened. That all three outer planets are changing sign
Yeah.
in such a short period. So
Yeah.
this is like a reset of humanity. Plus, we have a new Saturn Neptune conjunction in 0° Aries.
Oh,
Plus, we are having nodes 0° Aries. 0° Aries is a world
it
point,
sure is.
is the point of beginning of
Yeah.
everything.
Everything.
So that's why, although the reality seems harsh, since are real, the reset is coming.
Mm-hmm.
I know that as Saturn would always tell us, we need a little bit of patience, but overall, it's huge year. So it's like a bridge year, and then we should see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We
It's good.
as humans, we have as individuals, I think we have an obligation and a duty to humanity and to ourselves to be positive, to see what can we put in the universe individually, what kind of future we want, okay? And we need to make sure that, because I feel the power of thought, the power of prayer, the power of
Intention.
putting things in the universe,
Mm-hmm.
intention, is very strong if we do it, so all of us need to have this vision of a better future in our heads, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And put it out there, and it will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's going to survive. So I think all of us who already are in tune with the stars, with nature, with ourselves, what is our purpose? How can we, I think all of us it's our duty
Mm-hmm.
to make sure to help others on this transition for a better humanity. I know
Yeah.
I sound like a preacher, but this is what I truly believe.
Oh, I totally agree with you. Now,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
sometimes some cases, some of us may need a little rest stop, a little pit stop to charge up,
Yes,
because some of us
yes,
have been on that plane and of that intention
for a
and
long time.
giving and holding
Yeah,
space for a while.
yeah.
So you got to be honor yourself, because know where you are on that continuum. I know where I am on that continuum, and because in other words, if we have the benefit of foresight, so we know that we have these things coming up. But yeah, I think we just got finished expending a lot of energy, a lot of soul energy, holding space for this country, the world, other countries, um, and we use more because we all, whether we know it or not, we know it, we could feel it intuitively that we're holding, because we're having an old world situation and a new world. So we're
Yeah.
having to hold two energies, and two, an old, a sun setting one and a dawning one at the same time. So that That requires a lot,
I know.
so we'll need to.
I know I mentioned this on my stories the other day, but I wanna point it out here as well. I was watching a movie with my 4-year-old. It's The Crude. It's about these cave people, okay, and they're very afraid they're gonna die. Somebody's gonna come up, so they're always in the cave and everything,
Okay.
right? But this little girl, she wants to see what's out
Yeah.
there. They kind of live in this safe situation. We are in fear, but at least we know our enemy, or we know what we're dealing with.
Right.
There's a
Right.
resemblance, right, with
Yes.
what's going on here.
Hmm.
But she wants to see, and she wants to explore, and she does this, all these things, and she wants to see the other world. And the point is, she meets this boy, and he tells her, "I'm going to take you to a new world," and they need to leave this behind. It's destroyed. This is what Pluto does. It
Yeah.
needs to be destroyed
It
before we.
does.
But we need that
Yeah.
spark. We need that curiosity. We need that
Hmm. Hmm.
willingness to leave,
Hmm.
because it's not comfortable. Although it's not good, it's kind of what we know. I think that's the
Right.
problem. Like
Hmm.
I know my enemy. I don't want to, what out there is going to be a reverse enemy. It's not. It could be. That's the whole point. It's not. I think we need that courage. And I think last year and a half with the nodes in Aries, the North Node in Aries, we kind of really need that courage to step up, to be
Yeah.
bold, to
I think.
to get out of comfort zones.
Yeah.
Even we don't know what it is out there. With our faith,
Hmm.
Saturn in Pisces, and Neptune in Pisces, we have a faith it's gonna be better.
Yeah.
And we need to leave this behind and go and step and not be afraid. That's number one, because the enemy wants us to be afraid, whoever
Hmm.
enemy it is for us.
Yeah, the low
Okay?
vibrating. Well,
Yeah.
again, it's a certain power, a certain paradigm that's been in existence for a while and controlling things for the
Yeah.
248 years this country's been in existence. So it's comfortable doing what it's been doing. It's been top dog. So of course it would be reluctant
Mm.
to cede any control or power. Um,
Yeah.
and so I think some of these with the full moon,
Yeah.
Uranus everywhere will
Yeah.
Mercury retrograde. Information will come to the fore to our
Yeah.
side that we cannot. That's irrefutable. That we realize that the past or the current and the recent past is too uncomfortable to
Mm.
stay in. It's
Yeah.
not safe. It's not
It,
safe.
it's
So
it's interesting. This full moon is sextile Neptune, so Neptune is still in Pisces. Okay, so it's and new moon is in Taurus, which is really fertile energy.
yeah, it
Okay,
is.
so sextile
Hmm.
is also giving us, we can also be. I know sextile should be a
Yeah,
positive aspect, and
yeah,
it is,
it is
but
usually.
it can give us also a feeling of, you know, of of of
Oh,
going in a comfort zones. A Taurus likes comfort.
sure
Taurus doesn't
does.
like, Taurus doesn't like to change anything,
Hmm.
right? And with this beautiful Neptune supporting him, this
Yes,
moon,
yeah,
it's like, oh, let's just enjoy our
yeah.
senses, is all enjoy and
Neptune
be
will
in this
encourage that.
fantasy.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
enjoy the fantasy
yes,
instead of. So I think this Uranus is actually a good thing because it's a change bringer. It can be
yes,
explosive. It will shook us up, but I
yeah,
think we need it
yes.
because Taurus just doesn't want to change.
Yeah,
Even if it's not 100%. You know what? You know,
yeah, yeah.
I don't care. I have my chocolate. I'm gonna be fine, right?
Right,
It's not.
right.
You're not gonna be
Taurus does like
fine
to
with
plod.
chocolate.
Does like to plod. Yeah. Hmm.
So I think this sextile is kind of, oh, everybody says it's a nice. Yes, it can be nice for more fantasy world,
That's true.
right? So
Yes.
so have that in mind, right? So that's why I like kind of the Venus is in Capricorn ruling this moon. I think she's going to ground it, everything. She said, no,
Right. Good.
let's
Good.
move on.
Okay. That's
Let's
true.
move on.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
nodes. Yeah, so
And the notes.
everybody who has any planets between 21 and 27 degrees in fixed signs, which are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, it's going to be more personal for them. Okay,
Mm.
so just take a note on a personal level. But globally, this is what we can. There is, as I said, partnerships, connections, committed partnerships. Juno is here. Juno is about, Juno was in Roman. She's like a Hera in Greek. She's a version of Hera in a Roman mythology. So she was devoted to Jupiter,
Zeus.
Zeus.
Yep.
She was faithful to him, although he cheated. He did all this
Yes.
stuff, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yep.
think about these partnerships. They're now in question because Mars and Pluto are opposition there's an apex to Juno. So this is some kind of a thing. Are they going to survive? What's going to happen? That's what
Yeah,
I think.
I agree with you. I totally get that. I can sense that
Right?
there's, it's a, it's a part when you're in battle. That's one thing, having your comrades or your partners. But then when you win, and you need to sort the spoils and who's going to take over this area, that department, and this jurisdiction. That's when we can enter into some tricky business.
Juno is also in Scorpio right now, right? And
Oh,
Scorpio is
okay.
very vindictive. Like Juno, she was, if you mythology stories, she was really after all these lovers and their kids, and she
Yes.
wanted. There's many stories, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
She can be very vindictive in Scorpio, very
Uh-oh.
nasty. So
Okay.
if people feel they didn't get what they thought they're gonna get or deserve, or
Yes.
there's a lot of people with a lot of money involved, very powerful
Right.
people.
Right.
So you have,
And then they won't. Mm-hmm.
if you have too many of them at the same
Yes.
pot, I don't
That,
know. Maybe
that's yeah.
I'm just projecting, but that's my feeling
No, I
with all
don't think
this.
so. I
I
think
don't know.
it's I
We'll
think
see how it
it's
goes.
yeah. We'll see. Yeah. I mean, it does. We've all experienced this in other parts of our life or history. If you've read any history, you've seen this before.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah.
History repeats.
Mm-hmm.
History repeats. Oh, the imaginary restaurant asks, Uranus made promises they can't keep, and not usually Uranus, but who keeps promises they can't keep? With Libra can be like that. Geminis can be like that. All the air signs can be like that because they just want to connect with others no matter what. They want to, or
Yeah.
Leo wants to be in the lower vibrations, right?
Yeah.
Wants to be the best. He will do anything to be on top. And Trump is Leo, Gemini combination.
Yeah. Now,
So,
someone asked,
um,
Dr. Jane asked, are there any planets out of bounds now?
I don't know that information. I
Okay.
didn't. I don't
Right.
know. To be
That's
honest,
okay. At least,
so
let's
I
see.
can't confirm or deny.
Yeah, okay.
I
Well,
don't
that's
know.
good. So you're not a politician, because
Yeah.
you're answering honestly.
Yeah. No,
So
integrity is very important. Integrity is very important, to be
sure
honest.
is.
If you say, I don't know, I can check. I'll check and I'll put it in the comments after you say this,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
I can do that. That's no problem at all. Okay, so, yeah. I kind of, anyway, Venus is sextile in Juno. So there is I think Venus although she's in Capricorn, I think she's in a better position than Mars as a ruler of the sun. Okay.
Hmm.
And also we have Mars and Venus in conjunct in this position that they need to adjust to each other. So they're the rulers. I mean, the rulers. Uh, yeah, the rulers are in conjunct. This was no. Venus and Mars are in conjunct. That's
Oh,
right, and they are ruling the full moon. So there is some
oh,
kind of adjustment. There's some kind of
yeah.
irritation.
And there's not a communication there when
Yeah,
they're in conjunct like that. Yeah.
yeah,
May not even be
yeah,
aware they're not communicating. They may think they're communicating, but not. It's not getting through.
yeah.
Mm.
Oh, I forgot to mention a very important thing. How could I miss this? Mercury is opposing Jupiter. So that's the whole. They are a mutable reception, but as I mentioned, fake news. All that I was talking about Jupiter and Mercury, they're actually opposing each other. So in the opposition, when opposition aspect is always involves other person, usually, right? It's
Right, right.
projection. It's
It means
about
something
you
different.
know.
Mm-hmm.
So think about Mercury is about also selling. So they're salesmen as well. Who
Yes.
sold what?
Yeah. Yes.
There's a vision. Did somebody sold their also?
Yeah.
It's about
Mercury
philosophy.
governs merchandise, and
Yes,
yes, yes,
yes. So its
all
ability
of
to
that
sell.
selling.
You,
Oh,
and you
yeah.
know, the lingo
Secrets.
of the salespeople.
Yes,
I
yes.
I'm in finance my whole life, and when I had to deal with salespeople, I know all the best to everybody. Beautiful people overall, but sometimes the way they sell you a story, you know what?
Yeah. Yes.
Some of them are really.
Yes.
So think
So,
so, th- so think about that. What was sold? What kind of story was sold? and who bought
Who
what.
bought
So
what?
there's
Yeah, yes.
interesting,
Who
very
bought? Yeah,
interesting,
it is gonna
very
be.
interesting.
Who bought the?
Because Mercury doesn't like to be in Sagittarius, and Jupiter doesn't like to be in Gemini, and they're there
Yes.
opposing each other. It's like, oh, I want to go on that side. That's my side. No, no, and then it's
Right.
like,
Yes.
what
So
is
it's not
happening?
it's not a good mutual reception, but they it's still a mutual hate society, if you will, kind of thing. So,
When I talked about Jupiter in Gemini, I mentioned like I think this whole year until next June when Jupiter goes to Cancer, it's going to be a lot of fake news, a lot of things coming up, a lot of, what is the truth, what do we believe in, who is selling us what, why, like I don't know, like there's so many things. It's even hard to be discernment.
hmm
We need to find
hmm
a way.
hmm
Uh, and always look at many sources to confirm.
Yeah.
Even we as an astrologers, like this is what I learned, this is what I do in my practice. I always look for at least three things to confirm before I say something. So at
Absolutely.
least three techniques. This, and then I can say, this confirmed.
Yeah.
Then it is.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it might not
Yeah.
happen if it's
Yeah.
just one.
Yes. Be more
So
evidentiary. Yeah, that's very good.
yeah. So
Yeah.
think about that.
hmm
It needs to come from and think about always, a Mercury in Sagittarius wants us all to kind of expand our mind and think about,
Higher level things
yes,
and
but to question everything, right?
mhm.
Like to see what is happening. Like what is the truth? What is that we believe in? Are we
Mhm.
believe? Do I believe in this just because my parents believed in it? There's a lot of things happening like that. Lots of things that are
Absolutely.
conditioned by
Family and
the way we
friends
were,
and your
right?
community. Yep.
Right? We were
Yeah.
born into some kind of belief system, right? We
Yes.
were
Oh,
raised in
most
one of
of
those,
us. Yeah.
right? How
Absolutely.
much did we put in with our own experience? Because the Sagittarius is all about having the wisdom and knowledge from the
Yes.
experience, not from reading the books. Like Geminis
Transform.
read the
Yeah.
books.
Yeah.
Geminis
Yes.
reads the book and they will say, I know something. Sagittarius won't. Sagittarius wants to
Experience it. They like
experience
to
it,
experience it.
right?
hmm They're
There's a
the
difference.
adventurer. They take
Yeah,
off. That's why I love that
yeah, yeah,
their sign, their sigil says like I'm taking off. I'm going there. Maybe half
yeah.
cocked, but they go out there
But
and do it.
But they're also storytellers. They're the best storytellers because they go on
Oh,
these adventures and then they tell stories how much
oh,
fish they caught,
yeah,
right?
yes,
And when Jupiter is opposing it, they caught a lot of fish. You know what I'm saying? So,
yes,
so,
yes,
so, so that's kind of we have to be very careful, about the stories that we hear.
yeah,
You know.
and
Yeah. So it's a hard time because we have AI, we have all this manipulation
hmm
happening on the technological side, and we don't know what to believe in. I was watching that somebody sent me something. This girl, it's such a ridiculous thing. I don't know if it's true or not. Like she did. I have to say it's a weird, stupid story, but anyway, she kind of did her butt. So she has it so big that when she goes to plane, she needs to buy three seats. I'm thinking, well,
oh,
what is
come
that? What
on,
kind of new? What kind of
wow,
news is that? What kind of thing is it?
yeah,
But and they put this, and then she filmed herself. So is she real? Did she put AI in it? Like I don't
yes,
believe anything I see anymore, to be honest. That's what I'm trying to say. So
yeah,
people send you all this. Oh, look at this, look at that. Is that really real? We
yeah,
need to ask ourselves
yeah,
this.
yeah,
What is real, what is not, who is anyway. But that's why the times we live in, I feel that are hard because it's hard even to be discerning at this
it
point,
is, and
right?
it's a
Right.
lot of
Yeah.
work, yeah, because
Lots
I'm
of
not sure if
work.
you heard, if you know this phrase, but it's an old timey thing, but people would sell like a salesman who could sell snake oil. That's what I think of Trump. He could sell any, what I mean, this
Yeah.
snake oil is a cure-all for anything, and
Yeah.
could have you believing it. I mean, really believing it.
Yeah.
So yes, I think we're in that place right now where we have so much information coming in, Jasmina,
Yeah.
and from different sources that we don't really know the sources. Years ago we had certain media sources, certain newspapers,
Mm.
certain community centers or whatever. Now it's so much
Yeah.
information from all over the world, inside our own countries, whatever. So it's quite a lot. But I think this is what we're going through right now. We have a fire hose of
Yeah.
information coming out, and we can't. It's hard for us to actually contain it, so we can actually have water in our own sinks. It's too much.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes, but I think this full moon will shine a light
Mm-hmm.
on some of these topics that we talked about, and
Good,
we'll
good,
see
good.
where we go from there. As I said, on a personal level, fixed signs are more kind of influenced by this full moon. Take a deep breath, guys. Always take a deep breath. You know, what did you? How you told me to share that story again? To put
Yeah.
a foot on a ball. So during the
Yes.
soccer, so
Yes.
imagine your life is soccer game, and you're running around with your ball and
Yes.
doing
I
all these
love this one.
tasks, and then you need to kind of stop, put the foot
Right.
on the ball, and see where is the enemy or where is the opponent, what is happening, what is your next
Where
move, what
you
strategy
exactly?
what
Yes. I
strategy to
love that.
use, what
Mm-hmm.
tactic you need. That you need. So we are at that point, I think, globally as humans, we are stopping on the ball, and we need, before we make a next move with all these changes coming up,
Yeah.
we need to know
Yes.
what move are we gonna take,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
Ah.
that's it. I don't want to go into
Yes.
details. I don't want to. I think this is enough. What else is happening this week? I can just
Yeah.
briefly
Something else.
tell
Yeah. So
anybody.
something else. Yeah. That because you did yours. Let's see. So today is the 10th. Tomorrow's the 11th.
Yeah. So tomorrow
Um.
we have Venus going into Capricorn. I'm gonna
Right.
repeat that.
And then
So
then
and then
Saturn and
yeah,
Pisces.
yeah. So we're gonna have on Tuesday the Moon is gonna go into Aries. So and then we're gonna have Mercury squaring Saturn on Tuesday. It's not gonna be comfortable because it's also kind of reality check. So I think the energy. I think people, facing the reality is going to be hard. This is the beginning of the week. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we have
so
something called radical acceptance. So people look it up. I'll put it in the comments here. But
yeah, yeah,
this young lady came on who is a psychotherapist, and she said, of course, this is all couched under the recent situation with the elections here in the United States. But she said, it's helping us too. Sometimes it's things like this are happening. My sister and I were having such conversations, and I shared this with her that it makes you see what is and accept reality as it is, not as you want it to be. So it takes off the rose-colored glasses, if you will, and stomps them. I mean, it's nothing wrong with rose-colored glasses, but we need to really see what's on. Again, it's sort of what you were saying, but it's sort of the
yeah.
sucker ball. Let's see what's out there. Not where of course we have an intention to go put the ball through the goal, but can you do that? What's actually blocking you? What's on the
And do
field?
do and do
What's
you
on the
have a
field?
help from your teammates?
Do you
Like
have
who is on your
help from your
team?
teammates? Oh my goodness, yes.
You can't do it
Yes,
alone,
right.
right?
So, and then change your strategy. So, I think a lot of
Radical
this I know for me, it's helping me see things. I call my parents used to call it the rude awakening. That was their version.
Yeah,
It's a very rude
yeah,
awakening when you're like, wow,
yeah.
okay, huh?
Yeah, I have a friend in England. We talked with. She's also an astrologer, and she's like, "Am I missing something? Did I miss something? Is there like I feel like I'm
Everyone's
missing
feeling that.
something.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, like, am I the only one who is ridiculous or stupid? Do I feel like she was like, what is happening, right? She was just
Yes.
such a shock.
No,
I
it
had to talk to
is.
her, and she's in England. She's not even in the US, and she's like,
Yeah.
I need to like. Anyway, so I want to mention before we go, Mercury square Saturn is going to be on Tuesday the 12th, but because Mercury is going to go retrograde, they're going to meet two more times, December 6th and December 26th, which is also significant because Mercury and Saturn square is not being able to speak up your truth. It's in
Oh,
Sagittarius. Saturn is blocking it somehow.
oh,
So maybe truth's not coming out or not being, able to express your ideas, your thoughts.
ooh,
There's a conflict. So we need to kind of it's call for action. We need to resolve this. And so this is going to happen again December 6th when Mercury is retrograde, redoing it, and then back on December 26th. On December 6th, Mars is going to go retrograde, so that's going to be another combination day to talk about later.
mm-hmm.
And December 26th, just 2 days before, we're going to have Jupiter-Saturn second square. So,
Ooh, okay.
yeah. So I think all these squares are calling us to do
Yeah.
something, not to give up, to just say, oh, this is it, and I did what I could. Not give up, guys. With Saturn, we are not giving up on what we want, how we want to see our future.
Hmm.
Saturn never takes shortcuts. Do the hard way. Don't give up, and reward is coming with Saturn.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Okay.
Hmm.
Although we have all these obstacles, this is where the growth comes. Somebody mentioned, I don't know which astrologer said that this time that we are in is just giving birth. And imagine the baby's in the birth canal. That's
Yes.
how it
Yes.
feels.
And they're overdue.
Stuck
It
in,
feels like they're overdue.
but
Yeah. It
it's
feels like they're not. Yeah.
stuck.
Yes.
In
Absolutely.
uterus, the
Yes.
baby's okay.
Yeah.
Before she goes out, she's in the canal, so that it
Yes.
hurts.
That
It's
is.
we don't have the
Yes.
space, but we need to
Yeah.
push. We need to
Push.
push.
Yeah.
I know I thought it was a good analogy to think the times we are going through, right? And
Yes.
then there's a new birth, new
Yeah.
life.
No,
But
there
we
is.
are in the
I
birth
felt that.
canal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think there's a little, we have, of course, we're impatient because we're thinking that things will be moving sooner. But, it's also another thing to remind ourselves that um, the um, the cycles of life. That's one thing my Vedic astrologer taught me
Mm.
years ago. The cycles that we're operating within. There's so many of them that I don't think humans could track them. We can't. But also it's okay. Let me just say this way. Quincy Jones. You heard of Quincy
Yeah,
Jones who
he
just passed away.
passed away. Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah.
said to someone asked him about something, and he said, "All we can do is reach for that, grab that instinct. We have an instinct to do something, reach for it, follow it, but leave room for to bring God, leave some room for God to come through. In other words, leave some room for the Creator, the Most High, whatever you call it, to come through." So I realized that I had it all planned. Most of us had things in our lives all planned, without leaving room for the aha, or for something that usually is greater than we could even figure out or imagine. But you have to leave some room, he said, for God to come through, to bring God through, let God walk through.
I like
I said,
that.
me too. I wrote it down. I told my
Mm,
sister, I was laying in bed and I was watching, on YouTube about it, and I had to get up and type the quote
yeah,
because I said it was so profound for me to remember when we're doing our work, whatever work we do, and we think we have it all figured out.
that's
Take a
very good.
breath and allow. Did you leave some space? Did you leave some room? Me for a consult,
For
for a
the
consult. Oh,
yes. Actually, I need to remember that sometimes because I'm in all this hectic life. You do everything and you don't. Yeah,
no.
that's very good.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very good. Yeah.
It's just so.
I'm still very positive. Maybe I'm delusional. I don't know, but I'm positive about the future. I need to be so
Yeah. That's
to survive.
good.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I think
Um.
I'll get there eventually again. I just need to take a little break and
Yeah.
a little rest. I'm on a rest stop. I still always tell people in my talks that, on the highways, they have a service road. You
Yeah.
can pull over when you need to eat a
Yeah. Full
sandwich
of.
and whatever and have a cup of coffee. I'm on a service road for a minute. Because I know there's more work to be, well, obviously there's more work to be done. You know what I mean? So either way, I don't care how things go. There's always, where we are
Mhm.
right now, completing a Pluto return, at least in this country, but it's actually we're connected now. So if we're
Yeah.
completing a Pluto return, the world is. Anyone that we share a landmass with, Canada, we all, are
Oh,
touched by it.
absolutely.
Absolutely, right? So I said, either way, there would be work to do, and stuff. So I said, okay. And I think I just,
Mhm.
you have to get yourself geared up. But I remind people it's okay, especially during the moon. I know Annie used to always say, do
Mhm.
your moon. So make
Do
sure, look
your
at your
moon.
moon sign and do your moons. And with this Taurus moon, full moon coming up, that's a nice, comfy. It's okay to have a couple of cookies. I mean, do whatever you feel like
Yes.
to make you feel. I've been having to comfort myself these last few days and take it easier and say it's okay. You know, you've been cruising and you've got a bruising, so it's okay to
Yeah.
just slow
Also,
it
if you're
down. And
grieving, if you're
yes,
grieving, you need to give yourself time.
yeah, I
You
don't think
can just
it's not grief.
overnight. Oh,
Yeah, it's not.
you know.
I don't think I said people say I don't call it grieving. I call it extreme disappointment. To me, it's not
Mm.
a grief yet. I don't
So
feel the
you're
grieving.
more angry. That's what you feel.
I,
That you
I
feel like more
think
angry.
and disappointed. I feel betrayed.
Disappointed.
I feel betrayed.
Betrayed.
I feel
That's the word,
betrayed.
betrayed. Mm-hmm.
And that's a place
Mm-hmm.
that I've been before in my life. So when I heard who was like this Vedic astrologer, I know Algol, Hogarth. Hogarth
Yeah,
said that
yeah,
Algol was and brought in that betrayal. I forgot Algol was
yeah,
I think Uranus conjuncted Algol on the day of the election. So he said betrayal. I said that's the word.
yeah.
So I feel it's almost like okay, us women would get a kick out of this.
Mm,
Well, not a kick, but we've all had lovers before in the past, and you realize, well, I was a good girlfriend, a good wife, and you find out that he betrayed you,
yeah,
and you feel like, but meanwhile he's giving you all this lip service, honey, I love you, da 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 da, and then you find out
yeah.
that wasn't the case. So that's the energy. I'm not grieving. I have
Mm.
it's sort of a betrayal, and with the sidecar
And
or
disappointment.
chaser
Yeah,
and
I hear
disappoint.
you.
Yes,
I
yeah,
hear you. I
with
hear you.
a chaser of a little bit of anger, but not so much anger. Because I don't want to hold anger in me because no, it's not my thing to hold. I did my part. I did my voting. I did my bringing the energy, holding the energy. But I
Mm.
realized, wow, okay, because you do ask yourself, did I read all this wrong? Am I just
I don't know what's
and
happening. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
Something
So,
is
but I
behind. I
realized,
think we don't.
yeah.
I don't think we know
No, we
everything.
don't
I
know
think that's the problem.
everything. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's why to leave. I realized, oops, we didn't leave room. God said, "Excuse me, I turned the planets and stuff." You know what I mean, JeMaja? We appreciate your assistance and contributions, but you know what I mean. I've been turned the planets before you were born. Even though you
Yeah.
feel like you've been here since time began, but that's my, you know what I mean. So I said, "Okay, you're right,"
Yeah.
which allows
Yeah.
me to sort of step back and hold a different kind of space right now,
Mhm.
and stuff like let things that we have an opening salvo, okay, something's in play, and we have more things to come. We have more things coming in, incoming. We have
Let's
more things
yes.
coming in.
Let's see what this full moon brings. What information? What will we? You're gonna hear something with all this. I feel that
Yes,
something will come up to the surface one way or
good,
another.
good.
Let's see what happens. What happens? Let's see. I'm really curious, to be
Me
honest.
too. Me too.
I was looking at this full moon for a long time, and I feel that's going to be. It's the first one after the election, and
And it's
it
a super,
has
it's a
Algol
super moon
involved,
too. I
and
think it's a
yeah,
super moon. It's a super moon. So even super, maybe that's the closest to the Earth. But to me, it's the intensity of
yeah,
what it's going to reveal. So, and we've had, I think Pam Gregory said we've had 4 super moons in a row,
yeah. We
which is
had. It was really
which is
interesting.
like you
Yeah,
think about it, it's a square. I mean, to say about the 4 points, it's like a
yeah,
so it's just showing that we have if I
yeah.
look at it that way and pull up from and detach from being in it, if you will, this is we'll look back at this time and say, wow, but right now that I'm in it, you know what I mean? I'm a mad bunny right now, you know what I mean? So but that's
My concern is as a
a
Gemini,
bad bunny.
as a person who really thrives on information. Like I live from knowing things,
You telling me? Yeah.
yeah, right. And I think I'm missing something, and that drives me crazy. That's what drives me crazy. I want to know what it is that I'm missing. What
Yeah.
piece, like why, like something that drives me crazy, to be honest. Not knowing, like all this
Right.
information, like one of my friends sent me today. Oh, look what they found out. COVID, this Singapore. Who? I said, wait, who is the source of this?
Yes.
So, so, so,
Yes. Yeah.
so all
Yeah.
these messages are circling, and this
Yeah.
is and that this
Yes.
person says this, and this person. Who told you? Where is it coming
Yeah.
from? Which institute?
Yeah.
What is that? Who is the doctor? What is happening? So people are just,
Yeah.
that's what I find very. That's what I'm disappointed about. That people made votes and decisions based on this hearsay, she say information. This
Mm-hmm.
one says this one says this, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that is the
Yeah.
that is one of the problems that I see. And it just, we need to understand. We live in a world when there's no control of information.
Right.
Everybody is journalist these days.
Yeah.
Everybody who has a social media account is some kind of,
Yes. It's a
say
know-it-all.
their
Yeah,
own,
including me.
right?
Yes.
Including me. I mean,
Yes,
also, I'm
me
trying,
too.
but
Yeah.
right? I always try to say, look, this is, my point of view. It's
Right.
not, I don't know. I always
Yes.
try to kind of,
If everyone only do it my way, we'd be fine. But see, no, so that's what everyone's feeling. I know I feel that way. If you guys would just go along as I tell you to, we wouldn't have any problems. But we're all,
Yeah,
we're all here learning together, and it's just a time right now where we may. I find it's sort of like again using the relationship analogy. You may be, like say, in the family, you may have a low simmering, not a feud, but disagreements,
mm,
or because you're unclear about this one's motivations and this one's intentions. So you're dancing around and hope you're getting along, you're smiling at one another, but you still have that gimlet eye, like I wonder what they're doing, really thinking. So that's the way I think we feel about one another right now, um, and so-called
yeah,
leaderships so it's and then we're entering. Well, I mean, for those of us in the northern hemisphere, we're entering the longer nights.
yeah, yeah.
So that even sort of makes you feel like,
I'm
what's going
hibernating.
on? Yeah, yeah, me
Hibernating.
too, me too, me
I'm
too,
hibernating.
me
I'm
too.
I'm watching cartoons with my kid and just
Yes,
doing puzzles with him, and I'm just
and
that's
enjoying
my
it
way.
too, and enjoying it,
Yeah.
right? Yes,
So
and that's a good
and
way to
thinking,
restore.
yeah,
We have to recharge our batteries too right now. So I know my
we
battery
need
is on
to.
low.
Yeah, we have Moon in Pisces today and tomorrow. It's an
Oh,
excellent time to slow down, sleep more. I had a nap this afternoon. I told my boys I needed.
yeah,
They gave me time to nap. You need to sleep, to rest,
I did.
take bubble
Yeah,
baths. Moon in
yes.
Pisces, listen to the music, watch the
Oh yeah,
movie,
Moon and Pisces definitely water. Take baths and stuff,
right?
and yes,
Water intake, avoid alcohol.
yeah,
During the
do
Pisces moon,
water.
even if you have occasional drinks, during the Pisces moon, that's what I try to do. Like I don't, for these 2 days, I don't want to have any intake because with Pisces moon, just let's have energy flow without any disruption, which alcohol can bring, just
Yes,
because it's
yeah.
easier to flow the energy.
Yeah,
So
I've been
anyway,
craving more
that's
water today, and it makes sense. I've been craving water the last couple of days. I mean, more
yeah,
than my usual intake
yeah,
of water. But it's we need water
yeah, yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
So, but okay,
Yeah,
well,
we'll see how it goes.
we'll see.
Good luck, everybody. Yeah.
Yes, and we'll have a good full moon and Mercury retrograde, and we'll let everyone know when we will reconvene and reconnect again.
The one way we can win all of this is to learn. We need to
Yes.
learn. Even if you're not, if you didn't go to some schools or educate, whatever, educate yourself.
Yes.
Learn, read books, find out where we're coming from, what is happening. Look at history, a little about
Yes.
history.
Yeah.
History will tell you so many
Oh, it
things.
does. History does, because history does repeat
Right.
itself. It
Right, so
does.
learn.
Yeah.
Learn from those history books. That would be that's the information.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. So,
anyway, but also
alrighty. Well,
winners wrote history as well, so that's also another topic I can always
yeah.
go
Well, that's
deeper
yeah.
on. But anyway, just learn something. Learn, educate yourself. That's gonna, expand your mind. Mercury
Yeah.
Sagittarius.
Be open to learning something new, or learning something new
Yeah.
about what you think you already know. Even
Yes.
that's another learning.
Yes.
Yeah.
And reflect, as you mentioned. Reflect. What was what were you born into, your family-wise, society-wise, country-wise, geography? That's all takes into
Yes.
consideration, right? And
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
what were
Be
you
doing that.
born
Yeah.
into, and what did you do about changing that if you don't agree with
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Come
Yeah.
from there.
Right.
I I just I can't. Like I know my dad probably is disappointed. He never said it, but I can see in his eyes that I don't follow his belief system. But I can't. I
No.
feel it's
You have.
not good anymore. It's not
You are.
valid in
Yes.
this. It's not valid anymore. So it's
No.
stuff
I
like that,
know. Yes.
right?
Yes. And there's a and there's a grieving for people. For those of us who realize our beliefs that we believed in. We're like, oh, it's not valid. There is a part of you that says, oh, I gotta let
Yeah.
that go.
And that's what I'm saying. It's hard. It's
Hmm
comfort zone.
hmm
It's
hmm
comfy. It's a
Yeah.
blanket. It's our blanket that we
Yes.
need to
Yeah.
get. Anyway.
No.
Okay, enough talk. I'm repeating
Yes. So
myself.
let's
Hugs
have a
and
good
kisses.
full moon, and thank you, Jasmina, for all your, as usual, great information
Yeah.
and great imparting of wisdom and some joy too. And we'll be in touch for the next time.
Absolutely. I love your energy and what you do here, and thank you for that, for
Uh,
giving us nice space to
Say
connect and talk about
yes,
astrology and
yes,
everything
that's what
and
I really
life.
want to do for
Yeah,
people. Yes, okay.
yeah.
We'll be back, folks. And thanks everyone for joining us. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody.
And
Hugs and kisses.
follow Jasmina, Brosovic Astrology.
Yeah.
I think I
Thank
put it in the
you.
same. Yeah, I'll post this.
Bye.
Okay, bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah, this is recorded. Yes, please, so funny. Please tell me this is recorded. Yes, it's recorded. And I will post it now. Okay. Bye bye, everyone. Have a good week.